We're making a rich and creamy pumpkin pasta sauce that's high in protein with parmesan and cottage cheese. It's full of flavor, gluten-free, and takes less than 10 minutes to make. Hello, my name is Nicole Bonilla. If you love healthier recipes to our favorite foods, then you are in the right place. Now you're welcome to jot down these ingredients as we go along, or you can click on the link in the video description below, and that will take you to the full recipe with all the details, including nutrition facts, ingredients and substitutions, and frequently asked questions. Now to make this really delicious pasta sauce, we're going to start by blending down our cottage cheese, and that's going to get rid of that curdle texture. You can use any high-speed blender or food processor, or I love using the chopper cup that comes with my immersion blender. So we're going to start by adding 2/3 of a cup of cottage cheese. You could use large curd, small curd, whatever your preference. I like using the full fat for the most creaminess. And then to help it blend down a little bit, we're going to add some of our milk. Now for the milk, you could use any variety that you like, including regular milk or any nut milk. I love using my almond milk that I make with my almond cow, because it only takes a few minutes to make and I have full control over all the ingredients. And if you haven't checked these out before, please click on the link in my video description below because they are seriously so cool. So we're going to start with 1 1/4 cups of milk, but I'm going to add just about 1/4 cup to my blender just to help the cottage cheese blend down. So I'm just going to pour in about 1/4 cup of milk, and then I'll just put on the lid and blend it till there's no more curdle cottage cheese texture. Well, that is smooth and creamy, and we can set this aside. Now the sauce is going to come together very quickly once we start cooking, so we want to have all of our ingredients measured and ready. So we're going to measure out 1/2 cup of pumpkin puree, and this is different than pumpkin pie filling. And we're going to have 1 tablespoon of cornstarch, and I have 1/2 cup of some shredded Parmesan cheese, which is about 1 1/2 ounces. And I do recommend buying a block of cheese and shredding it yourself, because if you buy the pre-shredded cheese, it's been coated in cellulose, which keeps those little strands from sticking together. So if you'll shred it yourself, it's going to melt down much smoother. And then we have 2 tablespoons of butter. Then we want to mince 3 cloves of garlic. Now I have gone through many garlic presses trying to find one that doesn't ooze out all over the sides or that doesn't fall apart. And I just found this one recently and I absolutely love it. It's 2 pieces and the top just kind of snaps down into the bottom. And then you just give it a nice strong press. And notice you don't have any garlic squeezing out around the sides. And then you can separate it and then use the little flat edge to scrape the garlic. So I included a link in the video description below if you could also use a sturdy garlic press. Now we're ready to start cooking our sauce. Now you could use any saucepan that you like. I love using my Hexclad hybrid pots because they give you the best of non-stick, stainless steel, and cast iron. And they're super easy to clean. So I'm just going to bring my pan over a medium heat, and then we're going to drop in 2 tablespoons of butter. I'll just stir that around so it can start to melt. And then we want to drop in our minced garlic so that can start to bloom. And for flavor, we're going to add 1 teaspoon of some Italian seasoning, 1/4 teaspoon of paprika, and to really enhance that pumpkin, we'll add 1/4 teaspoon of some pumpkin pie spice. And then we'll give those a stir to wake up all those flavors. Now we're going to pour in most of our milk, but I'm going to hold back about 1/4 cup. And then I'm going to add in our 1 tablespoon of cornstarch. Now we'll just quickly stir this together until it's dissolved. And this is a little easier than trying to dissolve it in all the milk. And then we can pour this in, and we'll add in 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Now we're just going to stir this as it simmers and that cornstarch starts to thicken. And now that I can tell that's nice and thick, I'm going to go ahead and drop in our Parmesan cheese and our pumpkin puree. And then we'll just whisk those in until the cheese is melted. And as that pumpkin's warming up, it starts to smell really delicious in here. Now, if you could use more healthy inspiration on a regular basis, I invite you to join my email list. All you have to do is click on the link in the video description below, and that is the best way for us to stay connected. So after about a minute, I can tell that that cheese is all melted, so I can go ahead and turn off the heat. Now, it's really important that you remove your pan from the heat before we stir in the cottage cheese. So I'm just setting my hot pan on this cutting board. Now, the reason why we're adding it at the end is because we don't want the cottage cheese to simmer or boil, because that could cause it to separate, and then it just gets a little bit lumpy. So as long as you add the cottage cheese after you turn off the heat, it will always turn out perfect. And then we're just going to whisk this together for about a minute till it's well combined. And now we have this very rich and creamy pumpkin pasta sauce. And now I have some rotini pasta that I cooked up earlier, so I'm going to add some of that to my bowl. And we'll spoon in some of this delicious sauce. Oh my goodness. And then garnish with a little bit of Parmesan cheese, because you can never have too much cheese. And that is ready to enjoy. That is so good. That sauce has so much flavor from the seasonings, and I love the cheesiness of it from the cottage cheese and that Parmesan cheese. and it is the perfect texture for coating the pasta. And I love that it's made high in protein and with clean natural ingredients without any heavy cream. Well, thank you so much for joining me today in my kitchen. I've included the link to the full recipe and it's in the video description below, and that will take you to my website, gentletummy.com. And I also invite you to like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I look forward to having you again in my kitchen.